Hi there, my name is Lily Serick and I am the Marketing Manager here at the Centre for Customs and Excise Studies. Thanks for joining tonight's webinar. I'll hand you over to Mikhail, who's going to start conducting legal and other research.
Hello guys, my name is Mikhail Kashubsky. In this webinar we'll just briefly look at some ways to do research. For most of this webinar we'll be looking at various websites and links where you can find some useful research tools or just generally do research. And I will not bore you too much about who I am. I'm a senior lecturer here at CCES, and there is some information about me on the website. Just to provide a general overview of the webinar, I've already told you the purpose, but some of the areas that we'll look at is primary resources versus secondary resources and what the differences is. We'll look at some international organizations' websites and I'll show you how to navigate and better find the areas of your research topics or research interests. I will also show you the University of Canberra research guides, which are done through the University of Canberra library online. And then I will show you some key international journals that deal with customs. I will also show you things like World Legal Information Institute, the Google Scholar, some legal citation guides, and some research materials which we have on CCES website, and there are quite a few of them, and I'm not sure if all students are aware of them. Okay, to get started. In law, there are two types of sources, the primary sources and secondary sources. And the primary sources is basically the law. In domestic law, it is constitution, legislation, judicial cases, interpretations. And since we are all in international environment, the international conventions and bilateral treaties are also primary sources. For those of you who are doing the legal research project, since it is a legal research project, I would be expecting you to cover at least some areas of primary resources, international conventions or your domestic legislation, for example. And secondary materials, secondary sources are those materials that discuss, explain, analyze, and critique the law. It's basically all the other materials except the primary materials, books, policy documents, encyclopedias, websites, anything. Some of the key questions about doing legal research or general research is, first is you need to be clear about what the scope of your research is, and you need to make sure that it's not too wide or too narrow. If it is too wide, then maybe just too much information; too narrow, not enough information. So for legal research students, you will have supervisors who will guide you in relation to refining your research topic and scope of your research. Some of the other key questions are: what are the key facts in your scenario or in your topic? What are the key issues, legal or non-legal? What laws apply? International laws, then domestic legislation, and what are your or other people's proposed solutions to the problems or issues that you have identified. So by these questions may seem to be obvious, but by asking them and having them in front of you, it may help you to actually structure your research in a better way. On this diagram, it shows the legal research strategy, just some steps on how to do legal research. This diagram really applies specifically for legal research, but for those who are doing like multidisciplinary research or not strictly legal research, it's still useful, but will not be exactly as it is shown here. So the first step is the legal situation or legal scenario. This is talking about your research topic or your research title. The first thing you do is you analyze it and do some planning. As I said in the previous slide, you need to identify some facts, some key legal or other issues, and then you need to plan your search strategy. This can include creating some keywords for the topic that you selected, and in terms of planning, you also need to think about the time that you have available to you to do the research. How much time can you spend? When is the next assignment due? Things like that. Then you're actually doing the research. You need to find either secondary sources or primary sources. You would read them, evaluate them, and where it says update, this is really more relating to the legal research where the law kind of changes frequently, and you need to make sure that you always have the current version of the legislation or of a particular document. And the final step would be the applying the law to the facts. You have a particular situation or scenario, you know what the law is, and now in the last step you would need to apply the law to those facts and basically write about it and arrive to some kind of conclusion where you would provide some solutions or recommendations for improvement in the law or in the administrative system. Doesn't really matter. Now I will take you through some websites of international organizations, and these are the 5 key organizations where you can conduct your research. And as a starting point, it's always useful to visit the websites of the international organizations that provide a lot of general information about your particular topic or other topics, and then start looking into more specific sources such as the journal articles and legislation, international conventions. I will now get out of this PowerPoint presentation, and we'll be actually spending time on websites. Okay, the first website that we're going to look at is the World Customs Organization. So we go to their website, wcomd.org, and the World Customs Organization has recently changed their website, so some of the links may still not be working, but they're trying to fix it as much as possible. So here you can see the main buttons. If you go to topics, you can see here a wide range of topics, so you can select the area that you are doing research on. For example, there is a capacity building here, topics, legal instruments, nomenclature. There is also the research website. The World Customs Organization in 2009, it started the research unit, and they have some information there. So if I click here, they have this research paper series, and it has here is the list of all the research papers that have been published by the WCO. Some of them are quite good papers, so you should look at through these papers at some stage to see if there are any papers that are relevant to your area of research. Then if we go to, for example, let's go to Origin. If we click here, Instruments and Tools, this will show you the legal instruments. Agreement on the Rules of Origin. You can click on Read More. This is more information. These are the decisions taken by the Technical Committee on the Rules of Origin and the WTO Agreement on the Rules of Origin. So the best place, I guess, is to go to topics and then select your topic and just go from there. So this is the World Customs Organization website. Now let's go to World Trade Organization, WTO.org. Okay, on this website you can also go to the area where it says Trade Topics. It has, and this website has a wealth of great information on any topics under WTO mandate. And for example, if we click on, let's click on customs valuation. This is a customs valuation web page of their website. You can see here the agreements on relating to valuation, the decisions. If you scroll further down, this is work of the WTO Committee on Customs Valuation, their annual reports, minutes of meetings, the working documents. So this all can be useful if you're doing, for example, research on customs valuation or other area. Then there is this documents and resources area of the website. If I click on it, you can see here the key publications, the legal texts. So for example, I will click on key publications. This has the World Trade Report, International Trade Statistics. So this could be a good starting point depending on the topic that you are researching. Or you can go to legal texts, again documents and resources, and go to WTO legal text. You can choose in alphabetically what particular legal text you are looking for, and it will take you to that legal text. So not very difficult to find materials on the WTO website. It is quite user-friendly. And the next website we're going to look at is the United Nations Commission on International Trade Law, uncitral.org. If we select English, this website is available in multiple languages. Okay, on this website, the main area where you will probably be looking at is this one, the uncitral texts and status. If I click on it, here you have the main areas of the uncitral mandate and the legal text in each area. For example, if I click on international sale of goods, this will be all the legal instruments that the uncitral has created. And so if I click on one of them, it will have the text of the convention here with the explanatory note. And it will have also, if you click here, the status of ratifications of various conventions, including this one. Or you can choose any other topic, international payments, international transport of goods, depending on your research area. Another interesting part of this website is this case law on uncitral texts. So all those legal texts that have been developed by uncitral, they have had some judicial decisions on them. So if you click here on Search Cloud Cases, it will take you to this search mechanism or search form. Here at the top you can select a particular convention that you want to search case law on. For example, let's select this one, CISG, Convention on International Sale of Goods. You can select here a particular article that you want to see if there has been any case law on it. So, for example, let's select Article 10 and do a search. And these are the four decisions that have considered Article 10 of that convention in them. So we have two cases from the United States, one from France and one from Austria. And you have here options on how to export those cases. You can click here on the case and select options. So I'll just take you back to the home page. Another area of this website that you may find useful is this one, Library and Research Resources. Okay, and here you can click on Publications, for example. This has a list of all publications produced by United Nations Commission on International Trade Law. And some of them are quite interesting here. I myself just recently downloaded this one, UNCITRAL 2012 Digest of Case Law on the Model Law of International Commercial Arbitration. So there are a number of useful publications, but UNCITRAL mainly deals with trade law, the sort of private international trade law, that is dealing with law between individual companies or companies and private persons, not between governments. The World Trade Organization is more on the government-to-government trade. The next website we'll look at is the International Chamber of Commerce. I think it's icc.org if I'm not mistaken. Let me just go to Google first. So if I type International Chamber of Commerce, here it is. Okay, the International Chamber of Commerce, here you should go to this one, Advocacy Codes and Rules. And then from here you go to this one, the areas of work. And here's all the different areas that International Chamber of Commerce is involved in. And particularly relating to trade and customs is this one, Customs and Trade Facilitation Commission. This is their page, and down here you can see this link to documents. If you click on it, it will have a number of useful documents. Customs guidelines, revised version, and many other documents. And the final website that I'll take you is the World Bank. Okay, this is the World Bank website, and somewhere here there will be a publications. You can choose here publications by topic, by region, by basically number of different kinds of publications. Here on top there's also this link to topics. So if you click on it, there will be plenty of information of various kinds of topics. And for example, if you're doing research on trade or customs, you would click on here, trade. This is their trade website. You can see there are links of trade research, trade publications, trade strategy. So there is really a wealth of material available on basically any topics on international trade or customs related topics. So as a starting point, you should go to one of these websites and see what sort of information there. The information on these websites is authoritative and reliable, so it should be a good starting point to do the research. Now I would like to take you to the University of Canberra Research Guide to show you what's available here for students. From the home page, you need to go to library. here you have Research Gateway. You can go here and select Subject Guides. You click on the subject guide and it will have a range of subjects which have the guides for them. Okay, so now we are on University of Canberra Research Guides web page. If you click here on law, this shows you the main law research guide. Here we have a reading list, problem solving and research. So let me click on research solving problems. Here are some texts on how to do research, legal problem solving techniques. If you click on that PDF, it will have the law school guide on how to solve legal techniques. Then it has here at the top dictionaries and encyclopedias, primary materials. You can find cases, legislation, law reports, secondary materials, journal articles. Here we have law by subject. So if I click on that, see where it takes us. Okay. So I have different types. This is mainly for Australian law, but here is some at the bottom, some international treaties. You also have here, if you click on secondary sources, you can find the journal articles through this. This is a list of all different databases that you, as a University of Canberra students, you have access to, and you can access them and search for different journal articles. Now I'll take you to a different website, to the CCES Research website. Here, if you click on students, and then go to resources. So from here on resources, we have links to Customs Administration's website.
Oh, it's because
and the research. This is the Research and Materials is the one that you probably want to go to. Here we have links to the World Customs Journal, for example. I'll click on it. This is the World Customs Journal, as some of you would already, all of you would know, is one of the leading academic journals on customs. You can go to archives here or the current issue. So if I go to archives, it gives me access to all of the previous editions of the World Customs Journal. So if I click, say, on one of them, and it's freely available online. Here are all the articles published in that particular edition. You can click on any of these articles and download a PDF copy, and it doesn't cost you anything. And there have been quite a number of papers published on various topics of customs. So you can, this is also a good site to do research. I'll just go back to, so now I'm back at the CCES Research Materials and Information. Some of the other interesting links here are this one, for example, ASIL Treaty Research Guide. And this is the research guide of the American Society of International Law. And these are all some of the topics that they have here. But if you scroll down, this shows you the introduction to treaty research. It has just general background on how to do research on international conventions, how to do it on the internet, and then it has some more sort of country-specific information. But this first part is the guide on the treaty research. Now I would like to take you to the actual Moodle site for the legal research project unit, because I've posted some additional materials there. I think it's Learn Online Canberra, www. Here, Moodle, Learn Online. Long. Okay, on the legal research project, I have posted here some additional links recently. For example, this is a link to the law research guide, which I showed you earlier, the customs law research guide by Georgetown University. I'll just open it. So this is the website of the Institute of International Commercial Law. So if you're doing research on commercial law, this is a very good website. It has the text relating to the International Convention on the Contracts for the Sale of Goods. It has a number of scholarly articles, then other guides on drafting the contracts, a practical guide, and a lot of journal articles, and also the commentaries on different articles of different conventions. So this is a also useful website by Pace Law School. Now this one here, the Customs Law Research Guide, is also a useful website. Okay, here you can see the Customs Law Research Guide. It's mainly the US centric, but there are some international customs law links and general information to the topics on customs and trade, but most of it is the links are already those that I showed you. For example, World Customs Organization, World Trade Organization. Nevertheless, this is a good website worth looking at, and here it lists some of the other journals and periodicals that deal with customs topics, trade topics. So all of this is available here from your Moodle site for those students who are doing the legal research project. I also would like to show you this research guides website of University of George Washington. Here they have, if you look here under the specialized research guides, the most relevant ones are this treaty research, United Nations research, and international legal research. So if I click on one of them, so I clicked on the international legal research, and it just takes you to a PDF file. This is a good document, an introduction to international legal research. Shows you guides on how to do research, things like that, how to reference text encyclopedias, good stuff. So have a look at this website, and we will in the meantime look at the other sites that I have posted. This one, CCES Report Writing Guide, it's although it is for reports, it is also useful for your, maybe useful for a dissertation. It shows you the structure. Yeah, it's really for report, but you can adopt it for dissertation. Some useful tips there on how to showcase your research, how the report should be prepared. Then here is also the World Legal Information Institute website, Worldly. I will take you to that website now. Quite useful website. Here it is the legal website of generally world law. Here you can click on all countries. Here's the list of countries. If you want to do research in a particular country's law, you can click on the country. For example, if I click on Australia, it will take me to lots of different links, court decisions, legislation, regulations. So depending on the country that you're doing research, you can browse by countries. You can also browse by regions. Here are some libraries and projects, a list of the law journals, international conventions. So if I click on international conventions, you can click here on different treaty series, databases, and search that way. You can here, if I click on the international law, it actually takes me to the International Law Library. So this is the International Law Library web page. Here you can do a search. Different journal articles are available. So you can see here Australian Yearbook of International Law, Singapore Journal of International Comparative Law, International Treaties collections. Here they give some search help as well. If you don't know what search terms to use, this guide can give you some help with that as well. But mainly, I think the good starting point is to go to the websites of different international organizations and start from there, and then narrow it down to search in different journal articles or books about the topic or reports, and then look at the legislation or the international treaties and using some of these research guides. Let's see if we have any questions from the participants. Okay, guys, there are no questions so far, but if you do have any questions, this is your opportunity to ask. Please don't hesitate. I probably will not be able to answer any specific or technical questions, but if not, I'll try to get back to you later with the answers.
Okay, it looks like we do have a question. The question is a practical one. What must a research proposal look like?
Okay, thank you for this question. Well, what must a research proposal look like? There is no a specific format, but there are certain areas that you will need to address in your research proposal. But here on your model page for legal research project, this is the assignment template, which you can use for all of your assignments, basically. I'll just open it. So this template, if you haven't seen it already, it's just a very basic template. Provides the title page and then the feedback page, and also it has spaces for introduction, conclusion, and body. So if you download this template and use it, and then if I click here on legal research proposal,
it
looks like the computer is a bit frozen. Just one moment.
We will. Oh, okay, so we can actually go to the next question while I'm trying to fix the problem with the computer. The question is, ideally, how many chapters would we need for an 8,000 word research document?
Well, it depends on the structure that you choose. There is no specific limit or the guide on how many chapters, but I would guess probably 3 to 4 chapters for an 8,000 word assignment. They don't have to be chapters as such. So yeah, if you have like 3-4 parts, then that should be fine. But again, there is no, depending on the length of the parts or chapters, they can be relatively short. For example, you may have a chapter on international law, then you may have a chapter on how the issue has been addressed domestically, a chapter on proposed solutions to a problem, and generally introductory chapter that will sort of set the scene, identify the issues, and provide general introduction. So yeah, 4 or 5 chapters. This is the template that I was talking about, of that you can download. So you can just use this template, but you will need to address the following points. Okay, we're back on Legal Research Project website. Here, research proposal. Okay, so this is what, if you're using that template, what you need to basically cover is these items here in 1,000 words. Remember, it shouldn't be really much more. 10% is generally 10% over the limit is generally allowed, but anything more than that is getting a bit too much. So here you have the proposed title, the name, just general basic information, the description. You will need to show some of the relevant literature. You will need to show me that you've done some research already. The choice of the research methodology that you will choose for your particular research project, and the research timetable. So this is, to answer that question earlier, what should be included in the research proposal are these areas in 1,000 words. And if you have told me your research topic already, I should have the supervisor appointed for you in the next couple of days, and your supervisor will be in touch with you, or I will do a general introduction, and then you can send your draft research proposal to your supervisor. Or if you have a question, for example, in selecting a particular methodology for your research, you can address this with your supervisor, and they will guide you on how to structure that and how to prepare your research proposal, or they will provide general comments on your proposal before you submit it for marking. So for those of you who haven't advised me of their research topic, it's in your best interest to do so, and we will have supervisors appointed as soon as possible. So I will have a look at the other questions that we have here. There is a question, if you don't have access to that Moodle page, can you have a copy of the template? Yes, if you can send me an email, I will attach you a template, and my email address is, I'll type it here.
It's mikhail.kashubsky@canberra.edu.au, but all lowercase, yeah.
Okay, looks like we've addressed everything. Well, guys, good luck with your research. If any issues or questions, address it with your supervisor. Or I mean, you can write to me as well as a unit convener, but any sort of guidance that you may need in terms of your research, address it with your supervisors first, and then you can take it further with me if you wish to. So this is about it, and thank you for attending this webinar. I hope I've provided some useful points to you. And again, this recording of this webinar will be available, so if you had difficulties following the webinar, or there were any technical issues, you can watch it again, and I'll post it on Moodle very shortly. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you very much, Mikhail, and thanks everyone for attending. I'll be ending this webinar now. Have a great night. Bye.